Welcome to At Home with Peggy, and here, like every place else, spring has finally sprung. And there are flowers and water in the basement from all the rain and broken tree branches and daffodils. So it's an interesting spring. There's a lot of work to do to get caught up with the very rough winter that we've just gotten through. And we're going to spend some time visiting a wonderful greenhouse, and that's where spring really gets started. And I'm going to let you meet all the dogs. We're up to 5, so that should be fun. And right now we're going to move over to this poor injured tree, and we're going to try to fix it up because it suffered a bit from the winter. This is actually a kind of magnolia, an evergreen magnolia. This is called Braxton's Brown Beauty, and it refers to the fuzzy brown on the underside of the leaves. It has suffered in the past where it's had a lot of actual damage where the foliage was killed off. This winter, as severe as it was, that was not the problem. The temperature never really got that bitter cold, but it was a lot of wind and a lot of snow, so you can see there was a lot of branches that were damaged. So we're going to shape this up. I'm going to show you how to prune the Forsythia. I cannot tell you how many times I've been asked, how do you prune a Forsythia? And when do you prune a Forsythia? And the answer to that is now, so we're going to get to that today too. So I'm going to get to work. I'm going to open up my brand new hand pruners, and I have my ratchet loppers, and we're going to shape this guy up. These are my ratchet loppers, which give me the extra oomph I need to get to some of the larger branches. My husband uses much longer handled tools, and that gives him leverage, but they're too heavy for me. So this kind of ratcheting mechanism makes all the difference in the world. Now, the first thing that you want to do is remove anything that's broken, and you want to take it back to a joint. So I'm going to get in here and show you some of the things that need to come out. Can see that this branch right here is broken in several places. This may have happened earlier in the winter, so we're going to try to get all of this damaged part out. We're going to take it down, even though some of this is in good condition. I want to get rid of all that damage. And if you notice, this branch is the tallest part anyway, so we may want to take it out for other reasons to keep the tree in balance. So we're going to go in here right there to a joint. Can you hear that clicking? That's the ratcheting mechanism allowing me to make the cut. Okay, let's get that out. You can see right here, that's the what was a seed pod from last year. The white flowers appear all summer and turn into these interesting seed pods. All right, let's see what needs to come off next. Now this branch I'm going to take, and remember to try to get it close to the trunk without cutting the collar. Now the collar is the tissue that sort of bends around on the bottom to cover it, but is all crinkled up at the top where the angle is more narrow. Okay, we got rid of that one. Okay, I'm going to take off a few more, give it a little shape, and we're going to show you what it looks like. I've removed all the broken branches, and unfortunately the center of the tree is now missing. It's like a giant fork with 2 wings. So I'm going to try to take some of the branches out that are shooting straight out sideways to make the overall shape of the tree a little more upright, a little more tree-like. So something like this that sticks straight out sideways may have to go. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll show you what it looks like again. Well, I've taken a lot off, and it looks more bush-like than a tree, which is unfortunate, but I think we're going to have to live with that. Now, one of the important things when you prune something is to take a step back and look at it every now and then. So we've created a little balance. This side seems to be sticking out a little bit too much. We need to bring that in, and we need to bring that height down just a little bit, and then we're gonna hope it grows and fills in and gets beautiful again. But we're almost done. The north side of this tree definitely took a worse hit than the side that I'm standing on now. But the sun is out, it's in completely blazing open sky. In a couple of months, you won't even know this tree had a problem at all. So just keep our fingers crossed. And we're gonna move over to the Forsythia now, come on. Well, Milo wants to help. He likes to hang out under this Forsythia, so he came out to make sure I did a good job. You can see it's pretty overgrown, but one of the questions I get all the time is when is the right time to prune them? And the time is right after they finish blooming. This has been blooming for a while. The flowers are still pretty, but they are starting to fade. They're on their downside. So the important thing is not to shear it into a meatball or a hockey puck. So you want to take out some of the oldest branches, thin it, open it up a little bit, but try to maintain the natural arch that makes the flower so beautiful. So I'm going to go in and see if I can crawl in there and get some of the branches down out at the base. Okay, so I've created this opening and removed a lot of dead that was down closer to the ground so that I can get into the center, and I'm going to take my loppers and go in and remove some of the oldest branches that go all the way down to the ground with a single cut. So I'm going to pretend I'm a fox or something and climb in there. Okay, this comes all the way out to here. And that's what we need to do. So you can see this is an older branch. It had a fair amount of dead on it. And we took it out. See, this is all dead. We took it out all the way at the base and completely opened up this area right here. Now, this is a big job. Don't get me wrong. This isn't something you do in 10 minutes. But if you do it correctly, you won't have to prune severely again for a number of years. Or you can prune lightly every year and take out a few at the base and maintain the nice shape. So that's the plan. Wish me luck, I'm going back in there. The Forsythia, of course, is not the only thing that blooms early in the spring. This is one of the magnolias. It's called Dr. Merrill, and while some of the flowers are still pristine, some of them are beginning to fade. So this is another early spring bloomer. Now I want to take you over to the other side where there's another magnolia that's not quite ready to bloom. Now these beautiful purple buds are on a magnolia known as Betty, and Betty obviously blooms much later than Dr. Merrill. So for those of you that have had the experience of a magnolia in full bloom that turns completely brown due to a late frost, consider Betty, because she's never been frosted because she blooms so late. Let's not forget the daffodils. They certainly are a symbol of spring. Daffodils are wonderful spring flowers and have the advantage that nobody eats them. They also naturalize, and you can see in this sort of wild part of the yard that they have become large clumps. They come back every year reliably and make excellent cut flowers. We have a mixture in here of all different sizes and shapes and a wide variety of colors as well. Most people begin to think of spring when they see their first robin or maybe their first crocus. But in truth, spring really gets started a lot earlier. And one of the places where it really gets started before anyone else is thinking about it is Kube, which is an outrageous greenhouse business with 18 acres under plastic located in Allentown, New Jersey. They supply many of the local garden centers, and many people in New Jersey have Kube plants. They may not even know it. I'm here with Rob Swanekamp, who is the vice president of Kube, and he's going to give us a little tour. But I really want to know, how did all this get started? And wow, it's so impressive. So what's the background?
Well, Kube, we've been in business now for approximately 52 years.
You didn't start it.
No. It actually was started by a fellow by the name of Art Van Wingerden, who had some businesses in North Jersey and relocated here to Allentown, where we are. And my father and uncle purchased the business from him in the early 60s. And now myself, my cousin Bill Swanekamp, and my brother John Swanekamp are the principals and have been involved as such for about 20 years now.
And how many different kinds of things do you grow here?
Well, we primarily produce annuals and perennials for sale to the garden center trade.
Lots of flowers.
Lots of flowers. But along the way, we also sell a lot of the same products to other greenhouses in the terms of plugs, which you see behind us here. And those then are planted and grown by those greenhouses for the same purposes.
So then one of the things that you guys would be considered among the best at would be getting seeds started.
That's one of the businesses that we have been working on a long time now, and yes, I would hope to think that we have a good reputation.
And you're very automated too, which is amazing, and you're going to show us some of that, right?
I will. The business has grown, ironically, as computers have grown and developed, and all the software packages that enable us to keep track of all the varieties that we offer. We have over 2,500 different varieties in various tray sizes. So you take that 2,500 times 4 different tray sizes and do the math, and you start to realize
and hanging
how many
baskets
items.
And containers and
for the springtime.
What is the Kube? That's something a little weird, right?
Well, the name Kube is based on how we grow and market our spring bedding plants, and it basically is soil block gardening when you break it all down.
Wait a minute, soil block?
Soil block gardening is one of the oldest forms of gardening there is, and it comes from when they used to take mud and pack it into a wooden frame, pull it out, let it dry in the sun, and use that to plant into. So what we've done is we've updated the process. So
then you stick the whole thing in the ground.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So we have cubes in a pack, and you can take those cubes and you can either plant them individually by separating them. They're all pre-separated.
I've done that.
Right? Or you can plant the whole unit by itself, right in the ground,
ground,
which a lot of people do.
And we're going to get to see all of this.
Yes.
As we tour around all 18 acres.
Sure can.
Okay, let's get going.
So everything begins with the actual sowing of the seed, as we call it. And the machines that you see here, that is what they're doing. They are placing the seed into what we call cells for germination and then eventual growing on.
How many cells are in a tray?
It varies. It can be as many as 512 and as few as 105.
But that's still a lot of tiny little baby plants in a tray.
A lot of plants in a tray, and it basically is what size a grower wants to start with.
So do you do custom seeding for some growers?
We do. We offer some custom seeding options, but the majority of the material that we sow and grow is based on seed that we purchase. We have a huge buying power, as you can imagine, with the number of trays that we do.
So after the little seedlings grow in those small trays, you bring them here, and what happens?
Well, this is our main transplanting area. So the plugs are now placed into the flat where they're going to be finished for eventual sale to the retail public.
So this machine just sucks them out somehow and then moves them to bigger cubes?
It's kind of a push-pull system, a grabber that takes the plugs. There's an extractor coming up from underneath. And what it does is pushes it up into the grippers, which then take the plugs, carry it across to the flat,
That's amazing.
And the flat has holes that are pre-dibbled in it so that it has a place to literally put the plug into.
The amount of hand labor that saves is phenomenal.
This machine basically has taken the place of about 24 individuals.
But as you grow, there's still lots of people who work here.
Well, if you're looking right behind us, we still do quite a bit of manual planting.
Okay, we'll take this now to the next step and see how they look after they grow a bit.
Sure can.
Okay. Rob, this looks completely different than what we just saw. What's going on here?
So here we have what we call a loose-filled pot production area. So
a loose-filled pot, as opposed to your cubes that you're famous for. Okay.
These are your basic 4-inch pot. We do not have an automatic planter for this particular job, so that's why we continue to do hand planting.
And what are all the little tags that are in there?
Those are simply branded tags that show the type of program that these vegetables are going to be sold as. In this case, it's called Tasteful Harvest. And these are heirloom vegetables, which are becoming very popular.
Cherokee purple, that's one of my favorites. That's an outstanding tomato.
It is.
Okay, and the little seedlings are up there and they're pulled out and put in the pots. And how do you buy these? If somebody wanted one of these, how would you buy one?
Well, you certainly have to just contact your local garden center.
And you sell to how many local garden centers in New Jersey?
We sell probably to somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 different garden centers.
There you go.
State of New Jersey.
Okay, on to the next phase. Rob, we're looking at a computer screen that has a gazillion tiny little plants in it. So what exactly does this have to do with the process?
Well, what we're looking at here, these are what we call plug trays. And this is a product that we sell primarily to other greenhouses for their use, for their transplanting purposes like you just saw.
So not all the plants you sell end up being full-size plants. Some buy immature plants and then grow them on themselves.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. Vast majority are sold to other greenhouses. So one of the stipulations of that is you have to have what they call a full count plug tray.
So you can't have any gaps or empty ones, or they don't get exactly what they paid for.
Exactly. And what we're seeing here is this is a machine that takes a picture of the plug tray and creates an image that shows where the blank cells are.
So the little red squares are where
the little red squares are where there is a hole that needs to be replaced.
So do you go in there by hand and do that?
What we do is we'll go through, and this machine then works through a process where it will literally blow out the cells where there's no plant. And thus you end up...
So there's like nothing there.
Right.
And nothing there.
Because of the image taken, the computer decides where the holes are.
Rob, that's
blows
amazing.
Right out.
That's amazing. So how do you fill them in? Fill them in by hand then?
And then they're filled in back by hand. We do have a machine that does do some filling, but the majority is put in back by hand.
And then they're ready to sell.
And now they're ready. Well, they're ready to be finished to get to the point where they can be sold.
So a little more growing on before they're ready to
Probably
sell?
about 2 more weeks.
Okay. Different, Rob. What are we looking at here?
Well, what we have here, Peggy, this is a product that we grow primarily for landscapers.
Feels weird.
The reason this is such is that this is a biodegradable paper that they literally can put right in the ground when they plant.
Saves a lot of time.
It saves a ton of time.
And the roots will grow right through that.
The roots will grow right through that paper.
Then decompose.
Right, and break down over time.
Sounds good to me. I could use that at my place. So this is little baby petunias that are just getting started. Are they going to end up out here with all these others?
That is correct. These now are just coming out of their initial germination phase. So 1 week after sowing, this is what we have. Hopefully we have as close to a 95 to 100% stand as we can get. These happen to be petunias, which eventually will join all these other plug trays you see in their final stages before they're ready for their eventual either transplant or distribution to other greenhouses.
So they can be sold in these small trays.
Absolutely. A lot of what you see here will go to other greenhouses.
So what's your percentage that you sell as little tiny plug trays compared to the percentage that you plant into larger size
I would say
pots?
ballpark, it's probably 70% go out the door and 30% stay here.
Oh wow, that's a big percentage. So lots of people buy the little ones and then they supply the labor to grow them on, and I imagine they get them at a less expensive price.
Correct.
Okay, sounds like a good deal.
These are impatient plugs that are 2 weeks from their sowing date. So they are in what we call the stage 1, ready to be moved out into their next stage of growing. And you can see we have pretty good germination here, which is the key, which saves on all the labor involved to patch them to full count later on.
We're standing in a sea of pansies and violas, and the color is just so exciting, and it's only March and you can plant these outside. And how many different pansies are out here?
Well, there's probably about 12 different varieties.
They're wonderful. They make me feel good.
They're very popular right now. Everybody, it seems there's a lot of enthusiasm for people to get out in the yard.
Well, they smile at you. And do you grow them in the fall? Do you ever grow them in the fall for fall planting?
We do. We do quite a few fall pansies.
People don't seem to know that you can plant them in the fall.
That is a great point. And fall pansies are great because not only do you enjoy the color, they'll overwinter and they'll come back in the spring and you'll get twice the show for the effort that you put into it.
It's one of the best kept secrets in gardening. I don't know why I keep telling everybody, but it's still a secret. But we'll work on that, okay?
We have to get the word out.
Okay.
Now we're in one of the main growing production areas, and all this product is scheduled to start to ship probably around the 15th of April, towards the end of April.
How many different kinds of things are in here? I mean, there's all these, a sea of begonias and hanging baskets full of impatiens, New Guinea impatiens, and I see geraniums over there and those weird pointy things way in the back. What are they exactly?
Well, what you have here is basically what everybody in the industry is looking for. We have hanging baskets. We probably offer somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 to 100 different varieties of hanging baskets. We have over 100 different varieties of flats that we offer in either cubes or 5-inch. And the list goes on and on and on. Those pointy things are actually a kind of a novelty item that we're doing now for homeowners that are...
And what's in them exactly?
Well, it's a mixture of things. There's some petunias in there. There's some ivy geraniums in there.
So is there more than one thing per pot?
They're all what we call combination planters.
Oh, I love them. Those are my favorites. I love them. So this is where, do people come in here to buy when your garden centers and your nurseries and your forests come in, they come in here and this is where they pick what they want?
Since we're a wholesale grower only, and we're not open to the general public, our customer base, which are garden centers, will come here to pick up the product that they need, or we can deliver that product to them.
How many acres are we talking about under plastic?
We are currently 18 acres under cover.
Wow, that's more than my farm.
And another 4 acres of outside production area where we grow a lot of crops in the fall, hardy mums in particular.
And you are open year-round? I mean, you are in some form of production, some form
we're in production year-round.
And you are the 3rd generation with the possibility of the 4th generation coming into this in the not-too-distant future?
That's correct.
Well, I think that that's amazing. I love being here. I just want to breathe in the air. It feels so good and it smells so good and it's so beautiful. And will you let me come back? And
sure, anytime.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us and have a wonderful season.
Thank you, Peggy.
Well, there's no shortage of work to do here at Blooming Acres now that it's spring, but it feels so wonderful to be out here after that long, horrible winter. But I'm not the only one that feels that way. These dogs are having a grand time. Willow over here, and that's Becky, and Poppy, and there goes Jake. He's the elder statesman, he's 11, and of course, little Magic. They're gonna help me do all this work. So you enjoy your spring and your summer, and we'll be back here next time at Home with Peggy. Say hi, Magic.